Okay, our first guests have been friends for nearly 20 years. They started their business in 2016 working with small distilleries to help with marketing, distribution, and event services. Today, they're established in 23 states and are now working with Amazon to provide 2-hour delivery in California of distilled spirits. Does that include straws? No straws. Okay, thanks. Here to give, did you say boo? Ooh. Oh, here to give us an update on Crafted Life are our co-founders Matthew Bowler and John Stafford. Thanks, guys, and thanks for bearing with my sense of humor.
No straws. Straws are bad. So thank you, Julie. As Julie explained, John and I met 20 years ago here in Bend as rugby players, and we have been peers in business on the marketing and publishing and event side for that period of time. 2 years ago, we decided to start a company together. And we thought we'd start off by creating a sandbox we could go play in. And the sandbox that we wanted to play in was the craft spirits market. And the reason that we looked at that as an opportunity was because if you look at total liquor sales, they're about 1/3 of the $1 trillion that gets spent every year on alcohol sales in general. And craft spirits is growing at 5% year over year. It's at 2% volume of the market right now. And it's predicted to hit the same level that craft beer is at in 7 years. Challenge in the spirits market is distribution is really complex. Beer is similarly complex. Spirits is even more complex. And we saw an opportunity to help artisan craft distilleries reach a national market. We did it by creating national distribution. We worked with a company out of Florida to provide the artisan distilleries with a route to market. We then connected with another Florida-based company that provides an e-commerce environment for us. And then we connect through a liquor store in Newport Beach that provides direct-to-consumer e-commerce sales. So now we have an end-to-end solution for the craft spirits distiller that allows them to reach direct to the consumer market without having to go through the liquor store. And if you've been into a liquor store lately, they're pretty nasty places. Not only are they normally kind of grubby, they also tend to be a visual, overwhelming environment for the consumer. Very difficult to discern one product from the next. Very difficult for a distillery to find shelf space against the major distribution companies that, just like in a supermarket, ace them out. So what we're doing is we're taking state-of-the-art marketing techniques to develop one-to-one relationships with the consumer that we know is in the process of seeking a craft product the same way they're seeking craft beer. Part of what we're doing and part of what we wanted to update you guys on tonight is we're seeking out influences in the markets that we care about the most. So our primary push right now is in California, and we have partnered with folks like the Supper Club to put on private dinners and cocktail events in Los Angeles and San Francisco. Through that process, we've developed quite a portfolio of reasonable social media content, as you can imagine, and that's gotten picked up by some folks here in Central Oregon. And that's led to us spinning out a side business where we're providing craft catering and craft cocktail services. Tuesday night, we were working with one of Oregon's 2 Fortune 500 companies for a private retreat where they brought in their directors from around the world for a farm-to-table dinner and craft cocktail experience. So we started to host those kinds of events here in Central Oregon. And tonight, if you go onto Instagram, and if you like crafted.life, we will select one individual and or company and provide them with craft catering service for a party of up to 26 people. Crafted life. The other thing that we're doing is we're actively looking to help our partners distribute to markets outside of the United States. John met with a business emissary from Hong Kong on Friday of last week, and we're working with them on putting together a business development team that will go out to Hong Kong with a view to bringing Oregon exports into that market. We're also working closely with Business Oregon and EDCO on developing similar relationships in Singapore, Australia, and Japan. Lastly, I guess our final update is through this process of learning and discovery, we have looked at and decided upon specific spirit products that we're going to bring to the market ourselves. So within the next 12 months, you can expect to see both a whiskey and a bourbon product coming out from Crafted Life. One of those will be an orphan barrel program, where we're sourcing product that's 25 years old, super hard to find, and bringing that out in a private label environment, again, within the next 12 months. And I think that brings us to our time.
Go Beavers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got a couple of rooms going. So we'll take some questions. Yes, Erin. Will you come to BVC with your spirits?
Absolutely. Oregon is creating just some superlative product, just bespoke, absolute beautiful distillers are creating amazing products. Well, they will absolutely be at BVC.
Fantastic. Yes, in the back.
How do you find your influencers?
How do you find your influencers?
That's a great question. Fortunately, social media does a great job of doing that for us. So in addition to those individuals that have got strong followings within the categories that we're interested in, we also identify organizations like The Battery, which is a private club in downtown San Francisco. The Battery is an organization that we work very closely with to host tastings, private dinners. We participate in their offsite camp event. And that not only helps us connect with investors, but it also helps us connect with hotel owners and restaurant owners and those sorts of things to help impact what we're seeking to accomplish in that market.
How about from this quadrant? Yes.
Who are you representing in the Northwest?
Who are you representing in the Northwest?
So we work with everyone locally here in Bend. So you can tick off the 9 distilleries that are in the Bend Sisters marketplace. We work with pretty much everyone in the Portland market. The only distiller that we're working with, 2 distillers, I should say, out of Seattle. One is Heritage. They sponsor, I believe, the Trailblazers. So they've got a pretty decent presence in Oregon. And we also work with the Walter Collective.
Harrison? Yeah.
What is it that makes the distribution so complicated for distillers?
What is it that makes distribution so complicated for distillers?
So spirits distribution is a 3-tier system. So you cannot be licensed as a distillery and conduct your own distribution. You have to have a separate company. That company needs to be licensed. And then you have to have a 3rd tier, which is the liquor store that conducts the final sale. So for a spirit, a small brand, to effect that connection, it gets very expensive because you have to sign up for pretty meaty contracts with each of those stages. What we did is we went in and negotiated an agreement that allows us to bring as many distilleries into that partnership as we want. So we make it very, very cost effective for a distillery to make that leap. Otherwise, it's too cost prohibitive for them.
The other part of that is you've got the 50 states, and each state has a different liquor law. And so you've got to navigate and know each one to get through that maze.
That's great. Yes.
Since you mentioned that you're growing, how many employees do you currently have? And moving forward, how are you going to do recruitment in this tight labor market?
So you mentioned that you're growing. How many employees do you have, and how do you plan to recruit employees in this tight labor market?
So Crafted Life is comprised of 2 partners, John and I. I own an advertising agency, so Mandala is providing the marketing expertise that's driving the brand. On the event side of the business, we're able to bring folks in on a per-event basis. And the liquor business is actually really pretty robust. And there are lots of folks available to us that have got, let's say, bartender-type background who are really excited about coming into more of a corporate environment. So growth on the employee side, I don't really think is going to be a problem.
Okay, one last quick question. What's the favorite success you've had in the last 48 hours?
I think the last success we've had in the last 48 hours is we're still in business.
I think that's a great place to end. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, yeah.